Hey, today, I think it was yesterday actually, a major update came out for Assault Spy. Now, some things I don't have unlocked because I don't play as Amelia's campaign that much because it's longer. I don't particularly like the final boss, Joker. So I don't have all those things unlocked. I will probably show those off at a later date. Thought I'd just go over some of the changes really quick. Alright, so let's put on tag mode. So they added two new moves to the game. Technically three moves if you consider the aerial version of the move I'm about to show as an exclusive move. They added that. And what they also added is Kick 13 for Amelia. They added a launcher for her. One of Amelia's biggest weaknesses was that she couldn't really get into the air without doing more advanced stuff like this. Oops. Doesn't seem to work anymore. A lot of combos actually don't seem to work anymore. A lot of things were changed under the hood, apparently. There you go. Whoever translated the patch notes didn't really talk about a lot of things that were fixed. I actually got more information off Wazen's Twitter. I had no idea that this was happening because due to my increased anxiety with everything going on in the world, I blocked myself from looking at the feed on Twitter for it's been about 4 months now since I've looked at it. So any small little incremental updates for all the games I was eyeballing and following, to cover them in the future, I basically have been completely blind on them unless I check their Twitter manually. It has definitely helped with my anxiety. If you guys use Twitter, I recommend doing it too if you suffer from anxiety. But in any case, he put up a bunch of videos showing the new moves and the mechanics and stuff, and the patch notes don't really talk about any of that. Obviously, this is a very deep game. The movesets are very massive. There's also a language barrier too. Wazen, the person who made this game, is Japanese, and the people translating it are American, and they speak fluent English. So it's probably a little bit of a language barrier issue there too. If I notice any other changes, I'll let you guys know. It mostly seems like hitboxes have been changed. Like certain combos don't work anymore. Just things like that. So anyway, let's show her quick 13 launcher. Stuff like that I used to do all the time, doesn't work anymore. I think there's one other move too. Yeah, there's like a little finisher. Let's see what the hitbox is on that. Oh, that's cool. So the way to do the Kick 13 launcher, I don't think it's actually listed in the moveset. When you do Kick 13 normally, you push the kick button again, and just do that launcher. I'm kind of against how strict the hitboxes feel. I think it was kind of cool how this game had honest hitboxes before, but it never really felt like you were really limited by it. Now it really feels like you are limited by it. I'm unsure if it's a bug or not. I will talk to him on Twitter and see if it's like intended or not. Obviously there is a language barrier, so I think he uses like just the translation feature on Google or something to talk to people in English. He has very limited English. I think the game actually feels quite a bit more fun now in some ways, but when you're somebody who has like 70 hours of muscle memory in this game and the combos suddenly change, it's very jarring to say the least. It's kind of like what has happened with Battle for the Grid up until the last patch, which was the Season 2 patch, or the last Season 2 patch when they added the final character. That game was changing very often, and like whole combo routes and mechanics were being added. So it was kind of a difficult game to get into, which is kind of ironic because the way the game is designed is it's supposed to be easy to pick up and hard to master. But because of how frequent the changes were, it was kind of hard to you had to like unlearn things that you would learn like a couple weeks before. That's kind of how this feels. I'm unsure how much of it is bugs or not. This game is very janky, but it's a good kind of janky. So another thing that got changed, this is actually a positive change across the board. The aerial trick and the ground trick comes out far more consistently now. That was one of my biggest complaints with this game, is how often the trick would not come out. Now you can do stuff like that, which you couldn't before. So you can also instantly go into the launcher. If you push kick twice, so go straight to the finisher, kick 13. See, like things like that felt like really clunky before. Let's see if I kill this guy and spawn the drone. See how consistently he will actually trick to them. So there's a little bit of a labbing video too because I haven't spent that much time with this today. It definitely feels like the hitboxers are way more realistic, which is kind of odd. This game had pretty honest hitboxes before. They feel even more honest now, which is generally not a good thing when you think about it. Yeah, DMC5 is like the most recent character action game, and that's well known for having some pretty crazy hitboxes. Like the hitbox on enemy steps in that game and the window for it is like massive, whereas in 3 and 4 it was much smaller. It feels like maybe they want to make the combos harder, which is kind of weird because this game doesn't really have much of a community to begin with. I will talk to him on Twitter. Obviously, there's a time difference and a language barrier, so it's kind of hard to talk to him. I did talk to him a little bit back when I was beta testing the game. I will attempt to do that again and see if I get down to the bottom of it. I'm sorry this isn't more comprehensive. A lot of the combos that I'm used to doing, a lot of things that chained into each other from tagging and things like that don't work anymore. I'm not quite sure why. It looked the same in the videos that he was posting on his Twitter, which, like I said, I was not aware that there was going to be a patch for this at all. It just kind of randomly happened because I haven't been looking at the feed on Twitter and stuff. So I'll get back to you guys soon. There's a new boss, Kanako. I guess you can fight her if you beat the game on hard mode with both characters. I beat the game on extreme mode with Asaru, but I didn't do it with Amelia. So maybe that's something I'll get to this week. Obviously, by the time you guys see this, it's the 4th of July. We've had a lot of assholes in the neighborhood lighting fireworks since May. It's been hard for me with my anxiety. Sometimes that is why, one reason why my videos haven't been too great, because I generally do them at night, and they've been doing it pretty much since, like, as soon as the sun starts to go down until like sometimes 1 in the morning. It's been really hard for me to get around. It makes me jump and stuff like that. So maybe I will finish this with Amelia on hard mode maybe later today. By the time you guys see this, I do have some Fourth of July duties with kitty sitting, so hopefully before or after that, I'll try to get around to that. Labbing the game out, to be honest, I didn't really expect to have to ever do that. I didn't think that the game would ever get updated again, but I guess he's probably stuck at home too, like the rest of us. He didn't really, probably didn't take that much effort to do. He really only added like 4 moves to the game. I do wish that the patch notes for this were more in depth, but the problem is, like I said, people writing the patches don't play the game, which is very common. They're given, you know, notes from the developers, which may not include everything, and then they have to translate it into English. I don't think they have any assault spy experts at the Nipponichi Software America offices. I know Sahil, the guy that helped me to get into the beta test and stuff. I know he's actually not that bad at the game, but apparently he did not translate the patch notes. So if I notice anything else, I'll let you guys know. I'm a little bit unhappy at how strict the hitboxes seem to be. A lot of the combo routes changed, but there are also new options, and the trick is more air trick, and the ground trick is way more responsive now, which feels really good. I always felt like I was gambling, like I was buying a loot box every time I did that before, which is why I never really used it much in my gameplay. But now being able to do that is actually pretty cool. So let's check that out again. Stuff like that would like never come out before, and now it does, which feels really nice. So the new move is basically done off the R1. You have to just keep pushing the button. A little janky. It probably needs a little bit more testing. Stuff like that used to work, and now the hitbox feels way too strict. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I'm going to be labbing for a while. I'm not even sure if I want to lab at this point, because I don't know if it's intentional or not. The game doesn't feel more stiff. It feels like you have less freedom, because the hitboxes and a lot of the properties of the moves seem to have changed. Combination of the developer not speaking English natively, and then the people who translate the patches and stuff not really playing the game or knowing all its minute details, and then the fact that this game is a really small community compared to something like DMC5 is kind of just a nasty circle. Not really a whole lot that can be done there. I definitely am interested in playing the game more now that they've changed it, but it does feel a little weird right now. Battle for the Grid, to bring a comparison to that game again, kind of felt like the same way. The last patch that they did for Season 2 kind of killed the pacing in some ways, because they gave everybody more health to facilitate like nerfing touch of death combos. There are still touch of death combos in the game, but they made it a lot harder to do. But the side effect is that if you don't have two people that can do them consistently in a real match, then the matches are a lot longer and the pacing is not as fun as it was before. That's kind of how this feels. I'm sure both games will get addressed. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. I will catch you guys probably later today on the 4th with maybe some hard mode gameplay so I can try the new boss. See you guys later.